This book has only 50 verses, 52 including benedictory verses. Within 50 complete sentences, you have an entire philosophy. Philosophy in the sense of the metaphysics, epistemology, and soteriology, a sort of how to liberate people from suffering. A complete philosophy in 50 stanzas. I don't think that things can get any better. So what does this say? The first verse I cited, I came with an intent, because this is like slowly when the time comes, when when there is the new moon time and you go to the beach, the tide starts getting higher and higher. The same way the call of the mother comes louder and louder when this Navarātraṃ, these 9 days is starting tomorrow, and I'm invited for this is divine coincidence. Maybe this one is desire, but to me, I didn't even look into all these calendars. So there's this deep summoning of the mother. These 9 days, I request sadhakas to plunge into their own personal sadhana of experiencing the divine vibration within and without. The first meditation of encountering, experiencing this divine vibration is the first verse. The world is the opening of the eyes of Shiva, the diversity manifest. And the dissolution is the closing of the eyes. You can do that very easily because you open the eyes and you see the world, close eyes and just forget about it. Close also inside eyes. Forms, manifestations. These have really disturb people. How come, if there is diversity and that's also real, how can the oneness also be real? There's a contradiction. Why this is not a contradiction? That example I borrowed of the ocean and the tides fits very well, that actually seeing the tides doesn't make you negate the ocean. The same way you having mental states of pain and misery and pleasure and happiness, that does not constitute a real dichotomy. These are your modes of expression. Everything is always expressed in diverse modes. Horizons, somebody in the West calls that a horizon, a perception. Like the way you see me and you imagine like if you are in this corner or that corner, a little further away, a mile away, or just right in front of my eyes. And all these images you would see would be very different. And also in time, like if I'm outside and based on the sunlight, the way I appear, one single thing is always multiple, infinite modes of perception. There is no into how many ways a single object can manifest at any given time. This is the power of manifestation, the power of consciousness. In this philosophy, what is maintained, Shiva, if you call Brahman, you call Shiva, you call the one, it is the same thing, that divine energy, the absolute one, is constantly vibrating, pulsating, and it fits well if you look in the cosmic level, that there is this vibration in the atomic level to the quantum level to the planetary level to the galactic level to intergalactic level to all the other things we don't even know about. pulsation seems to be the basic fundamental principle of defining everything. Emergence, how something completely new come out, like there is no consciousness and then voila, there is consciousness. What this philosophy says is there is no consciousness is a hypothesis that we cannot ever confirm. What does it mean? When I was unconscious, that is not a proposition. I cannot make that. I did such and so, or I don't know what I did. Because these are, whether we confirm consciousness or negate consciousness, we are only confirming consciousness. My negation of my being, when I say I do not exist, that statement itself is a confirmation of my being. When I say I am unconscious, how do I know I am unconscious? If I'm just babbling, that's a different thing. But if I know I am unconscious, I am not unconscious. That's self-contradictory. So the consciousness as the foundation is not something we can ever negate. And rather than starting from inertia, from matter that is exempted, expunged of being, expunged of consciousness, we are starting from consciousness as the foundation and explain everything upward. How do we interpret something new emerging, different, some difference coming into being? This is why we call that these contradictory, apparently contradictory power of self-negation and self-affirmation are part and parcel of that very being, qua consciousness. When I negate, I am blocking my, if I'm everywhere and I negate my extension to that particular space, and that space belongs to Jah. And I see the other in the horizon where my own being has been negated. If I stop seeing the other as other, there is just an expression of your being. There is no horizon separated as my ego, and the horizon separated as the appearance, the object of my perception. This is non-duality, no logician can refute. The Advaita is not yet another belief. That's what kind of scares me out these days, when some eminent Advaita scholars work too hard to make it yet another theology on not grounded on reason, but grounded on faith and belief. If you keep believing, it's going to happen. No. Your belief is good to strengthen your contemplation, conviction, so that it's not negative. But even if you don't believe, that doesn't mean that this ground is weak, that your logic is going to shatter. It's solidly founded on reason. Just because something is solidly founded on reason, you don't need to wake up every day and start arguing. It's not a blind faith. I'm trying to make a distinction. Like the first thing I do, like many of you do the same thing, not like chanting God's name or something, I reach out to my laptop, I'm sorry. So, just to check the news and all, right? And I don't need to argue whether this is a laptop and what if today it is not, no. But it doesn't mean that I could never argue. So there's a difference in a type of faith that's coming through repeated direct experience, and then we don't need to keep examining every day. This divine pulsation to me is the type of faith that is open to any type of challenge, But I don't need to keep questioning every day. Not because it is beyond questioning, but because I've questioned this so many times and I've never been able to see any loophole in it.